welcome. Thank you for joining us for today's Appraisal Buzzcast. We're going to get started with a great interview. You're going to want to hear about Valuation Expo. Hal, welcome in.
Thank you, Jim. How's your week going?
Oh, it's going great. Well, thanks for joining us, Hal. Hal, we have Loren Cooke, the president of Solidifi, joining us. Hey, Loren.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Loren. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Doing great in the big city of Chicago this morning, so enjoying it here.
Well, you can't win every time.
That's right, exactly.
Loren, do me a favor. We're talking about Val Expo and the upcoming show and some things that we're going to be doing, and Solidifi is obviously going to play a large role in part of that. We're really excited about that, but just for my sake, I know probably everybody else in the appraisal community knows who you are and where you came from, but what's your background in the valuation industry?
So I've literally spent my entire career in the mortgage banking space, and half of it, frankly, has been in the valuation space. I've been with Solidifi. I've been honored to be with Solidifi since almost the very beginning. So I think, gosh, it's been almost it's kind of coming up to 20 years now, which is hard to believe. So it's been the industry a very long time. That's for sure. At least it feels like a long time.
Did you start when you were like 12 years old?
Yeah, exactly. Listen, it's the lighting in this hotel room is what's doing it. Let me tell you that.
I love it. Well, Loren, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I'm going to take a real quick break and give a shout out to one of our commercial sponsors.
Since 1978, LIA Administrators and Insurance Services has been offering E&O insurance to valuation professionals. LIA applies superior customer service, exceptional liability education from Peter Christensen, and unparalleled claim defense managed by Claudia Gaglioni. LIA offers errors and omissions, commercial bonds, general liability, cyber liability, and real estate agents and brokers E&O. Visit liability.com or call 800-334-0652.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Hal Humphreys. You're listening to the Appraisal Buzzcast. I'm joined today by Loren Cooke, president of Solidifi. Loren, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. You know, Valuation Expo is right around the corner next week. Are you going to be there?
Absolutely, we're going to be there. Myself and a number of members of my team, we're actually hosting a big session on August 7th, a big 3-hour session, which we're really excited about.
Awesome. And tell me about that exciting news.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're honored to host an exclusive 3-hour session at Val Expo. We have an in-depth discussion on how the Appraiser Diversity Initiative and PAREA are significantly changing the face of the appraiser industry right now, and really for the next couple of years to come. I think we have all had what seems to have been the Groundhog Day conversation around that long-term challenges with appraiser capacity in our industry, and how as an industry we don't ever want to allow ourselves to repeat the supply and demand challenges that we all experienced during COVID. Or of course, my personal favorite is, what are we going to do when all of the appraisers retire, as we see the average age of an appraiser now approaching 60. So, these conversations are going to get easier going forward with the introduction of PAREA and this evolution of appraiser licensing that we're going to be talking about. And now forever changes, frankly, that narrative, which is very exciting. And of course, in conjunction with this, the great work our industry has been doing around appraiser diversity, and fostering new appraiser talent, which is starting to change the face of the appraiser industry, which is much needed change, which is now going to be accelerated, frankly, by PAREA. So, exciting topic for us. We're really excited to bring this to the industry, and look forward to discussing it more.
Tell me a little bit about what we can expect from this 3-hour session about appraisal diversity.
Sure. So, I mean, first off, we're going to be showcasing, how PAREA and the Appraiser Diversity Initiative are attracting new entrants and really, frankly, opening the doors wide open to the appraiser profession. This has been one of our biggest challenges we've had is getting kind of new blood into our industry. We're going to be joined on stage by the Appraisal Institute, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, as well as JP Morgan Chase is going to be there. We have a number of ADI scholarship recipients, as well as a couple surprise guests that we're working on as well for the event. We're going to learn about PAREA, right? I mean, I think there's a lot of people still don't even know what PAREA is. And you're definitely going to want to know about it for sure, because it's going to change the face of the industry. Understand where we are today with PAREA acceptance and kind of this imminent rollout that's really happening this summer. See a sneak peek of the new game-changing simulator training, and learn how PAREA has the potential to dramatically reduce the barriers of entry for new appraisal professionals. You're going to see a Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You're going to see a side-by-side comparison of the traditional supervisor trainee model, which everyone in the room will know and everyone in the industry will know, and then the alternative PAREA program and what this will mean from a training hours, field time, costs, and just acceptance standpoint.
Right.
It's going to be fascinating, and then we're going to bring on one of the big lenders in the industry, JP Chase, and again, JP Chase, for those that don't listeners that don't know, a massive supporter of the ADI initiative. They have been since day one. So, we get to hear firsthand from them how PAREA is expected to affect their business and gain insights into their plans to support the program. We're also going to talk here from the ADI leaders, the latest in the Appraiser Diversity Initiative, and how PAREA will expedite the focus of the program and impact diversity across the appraiser industry. Listen, I think the biggest challenge our industry has right now is, there's trainees lined up, around the block. I'd like to say people want to become appraisers, but there's just not enough supervisors out there to be able to actually accelerate and get the hours that that the trainees need. So PAREA is really gonna dramatically change that, and then mixing that with the ADI initiative, it's really going to change the face of the overall appraiser industry.
Yeah, and one of the things that has always been a struggle, I graduated university a long time ago, and when I graduated, some friends said, "What are you going to do when you get out of school?" Like, "I'm going to go work with an appraiser." And like, what's that? Nobody really knows what an appraiser is out there in the larger world. There aren't many business schools that tout the virtues of being an appraiser and the good points about it. The thing that excites me about the ADI is there are so many people that have never heard of the profession that are at least looking this direction.
Yes.
And like you said, the average age of an appraiser is pushing 60. If I'm the avatar for an industry, we're getting old.
Exactly.
So I'm really excited. What is the most exciting thing to you about this presentation you guys are going to be doing?
Oh gosh, what's the most exciting thing? I think for one, it's going to be, the industry right now is on the cusp of a tremendous amount of change. And, when was the last time any of us have said, wow, valuation space and tremendous amount of change? Like there hasn't been a lot of tremendous amount of change at all within this space. And there's a ton of change and evolution coming into our space. We've got, new GSE valuation products in the origination channel. We have a new dynamic appraisal form coming out in the next 24 months. We have PAREA, which we're talking about, and of course the ADI program. And again, when was the last time we had this much change? But when I look at the advances that we're making with PAREA, and what excites me is some of the technology-enabled training is pretty amazing to see. I like to say, I talk to my team all about this, the simulation style training, is that, NASA, trains their astronauts through simulations. Airline pilots get trained to, fly Airbuses, 380s, through simulators. And so by doing this, we're actually bringing our industry up to the level that the younger generation is going to pay attention, right? And they're going to understand now. It's going to be cool, frankly. I hate saying that, but it's really, I can't think of a better word to kind of entice that younger generation to really understand and want to be part of this industry. And I think, it's a great way to not fast track, because it seems like you're cutting corners, which it's not. These are amazing programs, but I think looking at the prospect of becoming an appraiser, leaving college and then going, hey, I need to spend another 4 years barely scraping by, trying to get my hours. Where now there's a method and there's a way for them to actually, as a new entrant coming into the industry, get their licensing a lot faster, and then basically get out there and making money. So it's going to, I think, really change kind of that younger, kind of generation, which we need are going to want to actually take this and become part of the industry. It's pretty exciting stuff. This is a game changer. I hate saying the word game changer, but it really is. This is a game changer for us.
I think it is, and it occurs to me, I've had this discussion a number of times with a number of people in the industry, but like people that went through the trainee mentor model that got someone to take them under their wing and teach them business. I think there's a kind of a sense of like, I had to go through the hazing rituals. Everybody else should too.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, if PAREA puts out, skilled, smart, intelligent valuation professionals, and we can get more people into the business, I think that's a good thing.
Oh, absolutely it is. I mean, yeah, there's always going to be, whenever there's this amount of change, I would say change hurts. And I think, for us as an industry and as industry leaders, I think our jobs is to, help our industry navigate through this. And, we'll get through it, right? And we'll definitely come out, we're going to come out stronger on the other side. There's no question. There's no question.
I've been reading, are you familiar with Yvon Chouinard?
I'm not.
So he's the former rock climber who used to make mountain climbing equipment that ended up starting a little clothing business called Patagonia.
Oh, okay. Very familiar.
And he's got this book called Let My People Go Surfing. It's kind of a business book about his business philosophy. And one of the things he points out is a quote from Charles Darwin. And he says, the species that survives is not necessarily the smartest species. It's not necessarily the strongest species. It's the one that's most adaptable to change.
Correct.
Here's the thing. I had an employer years ago, Loren. I went out and I bought a brand new digital camera. This is back in, 89, 90 time frame. And he told me, he said, how they will never use digital photos in appraisal. It's just too easy to manipulate the images and commit fraud.
Exactly.
And he fought and fought and fought. Now everybody's using digital photos. I don't know anyone in the business that has a film camera anymore.
Yes, definitely not.
Change is afoot. Change is afoot. Well, let's take another quick second to give a shout out to one of our commercial sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that NAN hosts quarterly discussions with our appraisal panel on bias, inclusion, equity, and diversity initiatives that impact the appraisal industry? The topic of bias in the appraisal world will remain at the forefront of legislative, agency, and lender priorities well into the future. At NAN, we believe that intentional bias is only a very small fraction of the underlying issue, and that outdated policies and regulations and unconscious bias are of far greater concern. It's our hope to work closely with the appraiser community as partners in an endeavor to improve processes and procedures and ensure equitable treatment for all valuations. Learn more by visiting nan-amc.com.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Hal Humphreys. I'm joined today by Loren Cooke, president of Solidifi. You're listening to the Buzzcast. Loren, man, I have totally enjoyed chatting with you this morning. I'm excited about y'all's presentation. We kind of talked about the ADI, what it is. Tell me a little bit more about how Solidifi supports ADI.
Yeah, and for the listeners out there that don't know really about ADI and what it is, excuse me, it's ADI is this really great collaboration between the Appraisal Institute, the National Urban League, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and the goal of the Appraiser Diversity Initiative, and they're really doing some amazing things, is to really attract diverse new entrants into the residential appraisal field, right? And really helping to overcome some of the barriers. So there's a number of scholarships that they basically offer to individuals who want to become an appraiser and really kind of help them through with calculators and books and obviously paying for tuition fees and things like that. So how we are working with ADI is, one, it's about spreading the word, right? I talk to, I'm very fortunate in my position to talk to the majority of the top 100 mortgage originators in the country, and I can tell you there's not a single conversation that I'm having that doesn't include ADI and providing knowledge and information out there into the field very passionately, because it's very much a passion of our company. Is to really kind of bring in and help facilitate new diverse entrants into the workspace. So that's one way we're obviously helping us kind of spread the word. The other is just through scholarship money, right? It's cold hard cash, and where we donate a considerable amount every year to the ADI initiative, which really helps scholarship entrants, and it's exciting. And I think the most amazing thing for me is when I go to Val Expo every year and some of the other some of the other conferences, is we get to meet some of these individuals who actually, got the scholarships, and and that we help push through the program. So it's incredibly rewarding, and I think there's been just shy of 500 scholarships now that have been offered. Not all through Solidifi, I want to add, but we were part of that. There's a much broader, bigger group that are supporting this. But it's pretty amazing to think that we've got just shy of kind of that 500 mark of scholarship entrants, and it's going to grow substantially now with PAREA, because it's going to some of the barriers that were there are definitely going to be removed, which is very exciting. So yeah, we're incredibly proud to be part of the ADI initiative, and we'll be supporting it for as long as needed until it's no longer an issue. We're not talking about having appraisers or diverse appraisers and diversity within our industry.
We had the good fortune to have Rachel Beam from Fannie Mae join us last week on the Buzzcast. We're talking about the Appraisal Diversity Initiative, and one of the things that they say oftentimes is we're really hoping for the appraisal industry to look like America.
Yes.
And I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind. Look, everybody out there listening knows the numbers on the demographic profile of the appraisal profession. It is what it is, but we can change it. And the ADI and the work that Solidifi is doing to support that, and hosting the session at Val Expo, amazing stuff. One last question for you, Loren. If somebody is curious about the ADI, if they want to sign up, how can they register for this session to learn more?
Sure, it's super easy. Just go to the Valuation Expo website, follow the links. They can register there. They've already registered for the Val Expo on the for August. They can register. I believe it's Karen Connolly, and they can just have your name added to the list. There's no cost to attend it. So.
Awesome. Very good. Well, and Loren brought up a good thing. Val Expo just around the corner. If you have not registered yet, do it now. We'd love to see you in Las Vegas. We're going to have a lot of crazy cool sponsors there, not the least of which is Loren Cooke and the entire crew from Solidifi are going to be there. We're excited about that. Jim Morrison, do you by chance have an anonymous appraiser question for us today?
Yeah, absolutely. Before I get into that, though, I will say that, this session is completely free for anybody that's attending Valuation Expo. We'll take care of that, but it's August 7th in the afternoon leading into the opening reception. So we're really looking forward to it.
Awesome.
So our anonymous question comes from, and if you want to submit one, there are comments at appraisalbuzz.com, and we'll read it with our guest. This appraiser says, I have a rural property that has a standalone garage that's in disrepair and unusable. The roof is caving in. Do I have to factor this into the value at all since it's a standing structure on the property, or can I ignore it? Hal, I'll let you start on that.
I mean, my kind of go-to answer on things like this is do not ignore it. It's there. You're going to have to account for it in some form or fashion. A lot of times when I'm looking at rural properties, and you've got that building in the backyard that is falling down, I start looking at the cost of demolition. But it's not a thing you can ignore. You've got to address it. Loren, do you have any thoughts on that?
Oh, listen, I think you've nailed it. You can't ignore it, right? The lenders, especially, they need to know the appraiser. They are the eyes of the lender, and they need to know absolutely everything that's going on in that property. So yeah, you definitely cannot ignore it for sure.
All right. Well, Anonymous, I hope that answers your question in some form or fashion. I know we didn't give you you need to do this, and this, but you can't ignore it. And like I said, literally, I would start looking at what's it going to cost to tear this thing down. Does it have a negative impact on the value? If not, how much is it going to cost to shore it up and make it usable again? But these are all things that we do as appraisers on a daily basis. Jim Morrison, do we have anything else we need to cover today?
No, that's all. Thank you so much, Loren, and we're really looking forward to this session at Valuation Expo.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Loren, I can't wait to see you at Val Expo. Looking really forward to it. And thank you again for taking the time to be with us today.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
For Loren Cooke and Jim Morrison, I'm Hal Humphreys, and that is your Appraisal Buzzcast for this week.